Hi, I'm Pox.
And I'm Ponzu.
You're watching the Two Smart Guys show. We're back in the year 2015. In the future, first time, full 4K.
It's finally here.
So we got a lot of exciting things coming up this year. We're going to have like a comparison on 4K video, on the differences between your smartphone, your GoPro, and an external high-end 4K recorder. So that's something in the future. We're going to do some shows on hacking laptops and Wi-Fi and doing some, what Kali Linux?
Yep, some hardware hacks.
Yeah,
For
how to do some
real hacking.
some useful networking tools in terms of like terminating cable and stuff you can make money with.
Network analytics.
But today, to be perfectly honest, I got to brag a little bit about my new vehicle. It's pretty awesome. I got a
Jelly.
Model S 85D. So this is the dual motor Tesla that just came out with the autopilot that is eventually going to drive itself, according to Tesla.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so if you can see right here, it's kind of fast. It goes 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, something like that.
How many G's is it?
Yee, I don't know. Everybody says G's when they're in it.
But yeah, I'd say it was like a couple, like maybe two.
You know, it was interesting because when I bought it, they were saying it hadn't come out yet, but they were saying it was going to be 5.2 seconds, 0 to 60. And then people started posting they were getting like 4.8, 4.9, 4.5. And then they just announced a newer, lower end model today, and they changed the specs. Same exact car, the one I have, they're now going to rate it for 4.5. So that means they're probably going to put out an official firmware update, which is what they did on the higher end performance model. These cars are cool. They push out software updates that make them faster and give them more features. Like they also pushed out an update for the audio. And like from the day I got it, the audio improved the next week because they had a different codec or something they put in the audio system.
It's a sweet car. And I
was reading it has over 55 processors in it. It has a Tegra 3 in it that runs the 1080p 17-inch control screen that like controls everything on the car.
Which is the same processor most tablets use.
Yeah, and then it's got another separate Tegra 2 processor just for the display that shows like your speed limit and some of the extra navigation stuff on it.
Right. Did we mention the multitasking touchscreen on it?
So it's pretty cool because it's portrait mode, 17-inch 1080p screen. It basically is divvied up into two sections most of the time, so you can drag and drop where you want your audio to be, your rear view camera, a web browser. It's got it's connected 24/7 on a mobile network. It's AT&T, but it's unlimited and it's free. So they kind of want you to use this free Slacker account for your radio. You can have it play any song from pretty much any band, non-stop. You can skip like Pandora, but infinitely. There's no limit to how many times you can skip the songs. It's pretty cool. It's got hydraulics or smart air suspension is what they call it. So it's GPS aware. So like the curb where I go up to my garage, it'll raise every time I go to it because it knows one time I told it to raise, and then from that point on, whenever I come near my driveway, the car automatically raises. When you go over 55 miles an hour, it's set to automatically lower, so it'll get better range.
It's a sweet car.
It's fun. It's fun. So a couple things to note about the car is they will deliver it to you no matter where you live, like anywhere, free of charge, which is not really free because the car is really expensive. But I chose to pick it up in Las Vegas so I could get it a little bit sooner and so they could look it over. It still wasn't they didn't look it over enough because a week after I got it, one of the main cables came disconnected from the front motors, and they towed it. They put it on a flatbed and took it to Denver to get it fixed. But they did it in one day. They picked it up the exact same day. They took it over. They fixed it first thing in the morning, and it was ready for me the next day. And they paid for me to get a rental car, and they took care of everything. So they're really good about it.
All right, you were back pretty quick.
What are things to note about it? The traveling. So it's the one I got has the highest amount of range. So it has the largest battery pack, the best wheels for range, and slightly smaller motors than the performance version, the one that you see on the internet with insane mode, where people are like flying backwards. This is 1 second slower than that one.
1 full second.
One full second slower, but it's still pretty doggone fast, and you can go an extra like 30 mile, or I think it's like 25 miles of range or more. And living in the middle of Wyoming, if I want to leave Wyoming, I need that extra range.
Cool little note though too is that all these Tesla superchargers are getting popular everywhere.
Yeah,
so they're starting to like spread.
Yeah, they've got over 2,000 superchargers, and they're placed mostly along interstates. And they actually don't put them in the big cities; they put them in between cities, so that people just aren't mooching off of them all the time for their cars, because they're free. So the idea behind them is you can travel across the country for free and use absolutely no gas. So when I picked it up in Las Vegas, which was over 700 miles away, I drove it back to Wyoming, and my only cost was at an RV park. A guy charged me $10 to charge. He charged me for a shower. But other than that, the superchargers between Las Vegas and Wyoming, they were about every 150 miles. And I went and I checked all of them out just so I'd know where they are. But I could have skipped about every other one. They were fast too. Like, I thought I'd have to wait around for a half hour. But by the time I got it charging, I went in, I used the bathroom, got some snacks, came back out, it was already full. So that's kind of cool. I didn't have to really wait around.
It like fast charges too to like the first 80% and then goes.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The thing is about charging a big battery like that, it's like putting a fire hose in a bucket. You can't fill it to the very top because it'll spill or explode. So
Or explode.
they basically don't want you to fast charge it all the way to the tippity top. So in 20 minutes, you can go from empty to about 80% full, but that last 20% will take you a whole nother half hour to 45 minutes because it'll progressively, it's like an envelope, it'll progressively slow down. To compare, so it's kind of interesting how much power those superchargers have, because your regular house outlet, like your little 15 amp outlet, charges at a rate of, it's like 4 miles an hour. So you literally take a couple days to charge off of a home outlet. You can do it. They give you a bucket of adapters, but it takes you forever to charge on a normal home outlet.
Like
so
120?
Yeah, that's a 120. So they recommend you plug it into like a dryer outlet. So they say, you know, get an adapter or get it put in your garage, and they recommend doing like a 50 amp. If you can do a 30 amp, 240, or 240 or 210, but it charges at a rate of 19 miles per hour. The 50 amp charges at a rate of 29 miles an hour, and that's what's at the RV parks. So in Wyoming, it took longer to charge up my Tesla by quite a bit. Like you're talking overnight or a few hours to get you enough range to get home from the last supercharger. And at home, I had a high power wall charger put in and a second charger in the car, so I can charge at 80 amps, which is about 59 miles an hour. So I can fully charge my car in about 4 hours.
So what's the range on your car?
It's rated at 270. Theoretically, if you have perfect conditions, flat road, no air conditioning, no heating, and you're going 45 miles an hour, you can go 420 miles.
Now, what if you're going downhill?
If you're going downhill, you can go 1,000. It's interesting. We went down some long hills, and you can put on there and check the instant range on how, like, the 5 mile, 15 mile, or 30 mile average, and it shows 1,000 mile range when you're going down a hill for 5 minutes or so.
You'll never use fuel again.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we can go downhill. We can drive forever.
That's funny.
And it's regenerative braking, and it's pretty cool because the gauge goes positive and negative, so it'll show you how much energy you're using or how much energy you're generating. So if you're going on a really steep grade, it generates a lot of electricity. So if you've got hills, it generates about 80% of whatever it took to go up the hill, which is pretty good. But in Wyoming, there's a lot of hills.
A lot of really tall, windy hills.
Like when I was driving it back from Denver, it was rated 280 miles home. And I thought, well, you know, might be able to make that because it's rated 270. But we got these 60-mile-an-hour winds, and there was a lot of hills, and it was mostly an upgrade elevation back. So it took about a third of my range away. So we ended up having to charge a total of 3 hours at RV parks in order to make it home, which is kind of a pain because it was only like a 4.5-hour drive. I spent half of it charging. So we need superchargers. They're on a map. They'll be here, but they're not here yet.
Bring them to Wyoming. Bring them.
So Tesla, Cheyenne is not Wyoming. Cheyenne is in Colorado. It's like barely on the border. And then Lusk, too. It's
Come on, Elon Musk. We're talking to you. We want superchargers.
But the one I have at my house, the 80-amp chargers, they will give those to any businesses. So any businesses in Wyoming, if you want my business, please put a destination charger in. Just call Tesla and say you want one. They'll put one in for free. Well, they'll give it to you for free. I think you still have to hook it up. But yeah, any restaurant or hotel, they'll give them to them for free.
That's awesome.
Yep. So the future's here. Free driving. No use of any fuels.
For all you hackers out there, drum roll. There's a bounty.
Oh.
You can hack the Tesla.
Yep.
There's a bounty.
So they're
Get rich, my friends.
They're using AT&T, and there's some people that are doing some packet inspection. They're using OpenVPN encryption.
Yep.
There is an Ethernet port on the side of the steering wheel that you can get in and do like a null modem connection to it.
Drum roll, please. We need some people to help us hack.
I don't want to avoid my warranty. Hack somebody else's car. No.
So we have some exciting stuff coming up this year, though.
Yeah.
So
So
stay tuned.
Yeah, thanks for looking at the car. Tell us what you think of the 4K video. Are you able to watch it? Do you have a 4K television? Does it matter to you at all that it's in 4K? Do you miss the live shows? Do you want us to start doing live shows again? What else? What else is exciting?
Type 1 in the comment bar if you like us.
Please subscribe. We were going to go to E3 because we had to get to 10,000 subscribers. We made it, and then they're like, no, you need 10,000 a person. So now we need 20,000 subscribers. But yeah, any questions you have about the car? I can want to do some more episodes on like some individual features, like when there's new firmware updates and capabilities that it has, and how it compares to like the Chevy Volt that I've had for several years. We might have to do some tests between the two. And it's going to be interesting.
And we'll have some awesome hacking tutorials coming up.
Yep. All right, so we'll see you guys next week. We'll get to rolling and doing these more often again.
Like, subscribe. I'm at drponzio.
I'm at Walking Crow on Twitter.
This has been the Too Smart